Alright, what's going on, guys? We are now in the time of year where gaming advertisements are about to ramp up significantly. Already this year, we've had the announcement of Elden Ring DLC, as well as gameplay reveal of FromSoftware's next game, Armored Core 6. But as it stands right now, we still have a lot to look forward to in terms of information and potential showcases for these games. Now, as the primary focus of this channel is to keep you up to date on all things FromSoftware, what I want to do today is talk about the major gaming showcases that are going to be happening later this year, and give you my thoughts on how likely it is that we'll see either of these at these showcases, so that you can have them on your radar and know what to look out for the rest of 2023. Because the landscape has changed surrounding these showcases ever since the unfortunate fate of E3, it is quite a bit harder to stay aware of what's coming. So as we get into all that today, I do want to remind you guys that I'm going to be giving away a copy of Armored Core 6, which will be dropping on August 25th, and all you gotta do to be entered to win that is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, leave a like on the video, and drop a comment in the comment section down below. But with all that, let's get into the list. We're going to be going in chronological order here, and the gaming showcase that might be coming the soonest is a PlayStation State of Play, because according to many rumors that are floating around the area, the next State of Play could be coming any week now. Now, PlayStation State of Plays don't necessarily only mean PlayStation exclusive games, as every time we see these they tend to be a mixed bag. Now, while I personally don't pay these a lot of mind, the chances of seeing a FromSoftware game here aren't zero. Like I said, you never really know what you're gonna get. As we've covered several times here on the channel, FromSoftware is one of the main brands that Sony is looking at right now, and they've been raising their investments in the company, looking at ways the tools at their disposal can help elevate FromSoftware and expand their games on the media front. Now, like I said, the chances of actually seeing Armored Core or Elden Ring DLC at a State of Play are very slim, but the connection is still there. And while we don't have a date for the next State of Play, you may still want to keep an eye out for when it gets announced. But the main showcase coming up on the horizon that has the best chance in my opinion, without being too far away, is Summer Games Fest. Now, at the time this video goes live, we are exactly 1 month away from Summer Games Fest, which will be taking place on Thursday, June 8th. Now, if you were following the times of Elden Ring back before the game's release, then you're likely very familiar with Summer Games Fest, but if not, then let me give you a little bit of background. Summer Games Fest is basically the new E3, a multiple-day showcase that offers the largest platform to video game advertisers for the summer marketing period. It was started and is hosted by Jeff Keighley, who's become one of the biggest faces in the gaming industry for these kind of shows. Now, what makes this such a standout for the upcoming FromSoftware games is that FromSoftware and Jeff Keighley have a very good relationship, and they have a long history at Keighley's shows. Now, you guys will definitely remember that we got the Elden Ring trailer after that long hiatus at Summer Games Fest in 2021, and Keighley stated that Miyazaki specifically wanted to support his show, and we've only seen the cooperation between Keighley and Miyazaki expand since then. Now, I do need to point out that FromSoftware was a no-show at Summer Games Fest last year, but there's a very legitimate timeline reason for that. Elden Ring had only just released a few months prior, and they were still riding the marketing hype for that game, so naturally they weren't going to announce their next game only a few months after releasing their current one. But the timeline looks much better this time around. The marketing train for Armored Core 6 is now in full swing, with commercials even showing up in movie theaters. Summer Games Fest finds it in the perfect position to have something to showcase of this game. Now, we did just get the gameplay trailer, but it doesn't exactly show what the game is going to look like from the player's perspective entirely, so I do think that there's a good chance that if Armored Core 6 shows up at Summer Games Fest, then they could choose to showcase a demo mission and boss fight and highlight some of the new things that this game has to offer. Now, the producer of Armored Core did say that we have more multiplayer news to look forward to, so perhaps we might see some of that as well, but that also might just be information they decide to drop on a random day. But the obvious elephant in the room here that everybody wants to see is going to be Elden Ring DLC. So here's where we kind of got to consider the dilemma. We did just cover the news that it was confirmed that Elden Ring DLC has been in development for over a year, meaning that it's entirely possible that a trailer or a teaser for this could happen. But the question is, does this create a conflict of interest with Armored Core? And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure. There's really no way of knowing. But the reality is, Summer Games Fest offers a fantastic opportunity for FromSoftware to advertise one of those games, and the chances that we see one of them there are very high. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but we will be streaming the event, and you're definitely gonna want to tune in for that. But moving on past Summer Games Fest, in the following month of July, the next major event is going to be San Diego Comic-Con, which will be held this year on July 19th through July 23rd. Now, while this one definitely isn't a big hitter like Summer Games Fest, it's one of those situations where you never really know what's going to show up. Bandai Namco specifically does tend to be at these events, but with so much under their umbrella, it's not a guarantee what they're going to advertise is going to be a FromSoftware game. This definitely isn't an event where I would expect to see a full-length trailer, but I do think there's a decent chance we could see a booth for one of these games, handing out some collectibles or marketing material, which did happen in the past for Elden Ring. So it might be something you want to keep an eye on, but I wouldn't go out of your way to directly mark your calendar or anything. So kind of like the state of play, I'm not going to give it a 0% chance, but if we do end up seeing Armored Core or Elden Ring there, I will let you guys know about that. However, in the following month, our chances get raised when the next major game showcase is going to be happening. Gamescom is a lot like Summer Games Fest and the Game Awards, where the primary focus is on announcing upcoming games. FromSoftware has attended many of these events in the past, and we saw several of the Souls games get announced at Gamescom. But this year, there is a bit of a problem. The opening night where the main show happens will be streaming on Wednesday, August 23rd, putting it only 2 days before the release of Armored Core 6. So I would say the date alone makes this game show a pretty low chance of seeing something related to Elden Ring, but with it being only 2 days before the release of Armored Core 6, that does put it at the perfect time to showcase a launch trailer, which if shown at Gamescom opening night live, would begin the sweep of international releases. So I would say there's a high chance for an Armored Core launch trailer, but almost zero for anything related to Elden Ring. But after that August 25th date, things are about to get really interesting, because assuming that Elden Ring DLC is going to come after Armored Core, the marketing will then take a total focus on that. And the next event in the timeline is Pax West. This event is a lot like Comic-Con, where it's more focused on in-person booths and physical showcases, and it'll be taking place on September 1st through 4th. Now, also like Comic-Con, this isn't an event where I expect a trailer to be shown, but again, be on the lookout for a Bandai Namco booth, having those collectibles or marketing materials like we talked about. But later on that month, we get another big contender for when a trailer might be shown. Tokyo Game Show is going to be happening on September 21st, and is a showcase that focuses on mainly Japanese developers, which of course includes FromSoftware. Now, FromSoftware has attended the show many times in the past, but have skipped out the past few years, likely due to the company wanting to focus more on the Western market. However, this is still a show I'm going to keep an eye on, because this is one of the events that focuses on new announcements, and if we hadn't seen anything for Elden Ring DLC by that point, it only increases the chance of it appearing there. So this show is one that you'll want to have on your list. But before we get to the end of the year, let me give you a few honorable mentions that you might want to take note of as well. EGX London is going to be happening on October 12th, and is another good contender for potential trailers. Gamescom Asia is going to be happening on October 19th, and we have seen FromSoftware there before. But the biggest game showcase of the year, where we are almost guaranteed to get the trailer for Elden Ring DLC if it's not already released, will be the Game Awards. It is inevitable that FromSoftware will be in attendance. Armored Core is more than likely going to be qualified for a few awards, simply due to FromSoftware's consistent quality, but while we don't have a set date for the event yet, we can expect it to happen in the early days of December. The Game Awards are also a show hosted by Jeff Keighley, and have consistently been the biggest platform for FromSoftware to announce their upcoming games. So at this point, we have a few things to consider. By this time of the year, it's entirely possible that Elden Ring DLC has already released, and if it has, then there might also be a chance that we get their next game showcased here, but that might just be wishful thinking depending on how many things have happened by then. But in the off chance that Elden Ring DLC has not received a trailer by that point, or is not already released, then there is almost a 100% guarantee that that'll be the place to show it. Regardless though, the Game Awards are going to be the main show that you want to watch for the year, because it's sure to have some big surprises. Anyways though guys, that is going to conclude the list of the main game showcases that are happening in 2023, where we could potentially see more of Armored Core 6 or a trailer for Elden Ring DLC. Now of course, FromSoftware tends to play by their own rules, so they could drop it at any time and be totally unpredictable like that. But if history is anything to go by, then I think we've got a pretty good idea of what's to come. Regardless though, 2023 is going to be a great year to be a FromSoftware fan, and we have a lot to look forward to. But if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like on it and subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all things FromSoftware. But with all that, I will catch you in the next video.